Good morning. This is Judith and Desjardins in Santa Monica. I am at the Santa Monica airport this morning, halfway through my favorite weekend run walk, and I wanted to bring you to this wonderful place that honors Donald Douglas and his Douglas DC-3. It's called Spirit of Santa Monica. The first flight of a DC-3 took place on December 17th, 1935 at the Santa Monica airport. These aircraft were so successful and reliable that many DC-3 aircraft remain in service throughout the world today. The aircraft on display was built here at Santa Monica Airport and delivered to the U.S. Army Air Corps as a C-53DO on February 14, 1942. Its initial role was as a 28-seat paratrooper and glider tug. I want to go into this place, which I feel is a very sacred place, because there is a wonderful tribute to Donald Douglas and his famous dog, Wonderbar. Now, when COVID-19 started and I began running out here from my home, these were the only friends that I could approach in an intimate space, and I would come here to hug them. They were the only people from February up till now, and today is January 10th, that I could actually approach, climb up to, and hug. So Donald and Bar became my approachable, intimate friends. I'm going to go forward and hug my beautiful Bar. He's such a good puppy. He's such a good puppy, and I love hugging him. I love hugging him. He reminds me of my puppy Broody that died in 2017. Or let's say he passed on, because Broody Boy is here with me and comes on all my walks. But I love being close to Bar and hugging him. There's such a need during COVID-19 to have physical contact. And then I climb up here with Donald, my friend Donald, and give him a big, warm hug. And I feel so much appreciation for him and what he did for the world of aviation. I'm going to take you and show you some of the pictographs about his story. He's an amazing man, an amazing American that we can all be proud of, who actually helped the world and helped the Allies during World War II. It's such an amazing story that I've been waiting many weeks to bring my camera out here and let you share my appreciation of this great American and his dog, Wonderbar. I love them. and I always look forward to seeing them. And what is so magnificent about this memorial is that he's housed under the spirit of Santa Monica. It's the plane that I read about. And he and Barr look out from this magic space across to the airport and the city that they serve so well, honoring them for their service. So let's go and see some of the pictographs. There is this museum of flying at the Santa Monica airport that you can go into with lots of memorabilia. But these are some of my favorite stories about him. Donald W. Douglas, 1892 to 1981. The early 20th century was a time of great mechanical innovation in America. William Durant at General Motors, Henry Ford, the Dodge brothers, and the Studebaker family launched major automobile firms, and William Boeing, the Lockheed brothers, and Donald W. Douglas began their aircraft manufacturing companies. Douglas was just 18 when he arrived in Santa Monica and started his firm in the back room of a barbershop on Pico Boulevard. That's right in my neighborhood. Within 2 decades, the Douglas Aircraft Company had large, state-of-the-art production facilities in Santa Monica and El Segundo and was breaking ground for another in Long Beach. Tens of thousands of homes across the Southland, and especially in Santa Monica, were built to house the Douglas workforce. Donald Douglas went on to open additional plants in Chicago, Tulsa, and Oklahoma City, and became czar for all U.S. aircraft production under President Franklin Roosevelt during World War II. Here he is with the biplane, another early plane. Donald Douglas receives prestigious Collier Award from President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Donald Douglas Jr. and Sr. welcome visiting U.S. Journal Hap Arnold for a plant tour in 1942. And my dad was in the Air Force and knew Hap Arnold, so this is very nostalgic for me. Donald Douglas founded his aircraft manufacturing empire in Santa Monica just 17 years after the Wright brothers first flew in 1903. Flying then was the substance of dreams. Most people could not imagine that one day they would be able to travel by air. But Donald Douglas revolutionized aviation and commercial air travel. In 1924, his Douglas World Cruisers became the first aircraft to circumnavigate the globe. The epic flight took nearly 6 months from the time the planes left Santa Monica until they returned. But when they did, an estimated 200,000 came to Clover Field to welcome them back, covering the runway with rose petals. A decade later, Douglas introduced the DC line of passenger airplanes, the first aircraft to make air travel affordable for the masses. Its speed and range outperformed the competitors of the era. Douglas went on to build 10,724 aircraft in Santa Monica before the facility closed in 1975. Here is one of the original Rosie the Riveters, mechanics, B-19 workers, the Douglas World Cruiser, employees of the Douglas Aircraft Company in September 1929. And one more that is very important is Douglas during the war years. Douglas aircraft served many functions during World War II, including transporting injured soldiers. Workers enter Gate 50 at the Santa Monica plant after their lunch break. Employee parking, always a premium, was controlled by the War Department. Women entered the workforce in large numbers to produce planes needed for the war effort. Camouflage nets cover the Santa Monica plant and surrounding Santa Monica streets. When the call to arms came for America with World War II, Donald Douglas retooled his assembly lines to produce warplanes. Thousands of A-20 Havocs, C-47s, and C-54s took off from Santa Monica Airport to join the U.S. and Allied Air Force. Other Douglas factories in El Segundo, Long Beach, Chicago, Tulsa, and Oklahoma City turned out additional thousands of aircraft. As many of the men who traditionally would have made up the workforce at these plants had gone into uniform, the Douglas Aircraft Company pioneered the effort to hire women, creating the legend of Rosie the Riveter. Working day and night on 3 shifts, employees delivered to the armed services more than 30,000 Douglas airplanes. By some estimates, the highest tonnage of aircraft produced by any company during the war years. President Dwight D. Eisenhower remarked that the DC-3 was one of the 4 reasons the Allies won. So I'm very proud of my friends and the courage and imagination of a young man who started out in a barber shop and created the airplanes that helped the Allies win the war. So thank you for being with me today. I am proud to be alive. I am thankful that I live here in Santa Monica among such wonderful history. I pray for all the people around the world today that we are staying safe from COVID, that we are pioneering on into the new year, 2021, that we are optimistic, resilient, resourceful, we have confidence in ourselves, and this is going to be a good year for us, and God bless everyone. Thank you. Don't lose hope and have faith.